Hello, everyone, and welcome to our Virgo New Moon Community Ceremony. My name is Judy Keating, and I am the co-creative managing partner of Wise Transformation, and it is absolutely my pleasure to be with you today. So, just to give you an idea of what we're going to do, I'm going to talk to you about some upcoming events. We're going to call in sacred space, and we're going to talk about the fact that we're in a Virgo New Moon and a Virgo Sun. And we're going to use the Elemental Forces of Creation Oracle to get some ceremonial guidance. Certainly the most important part about this is that you tap into what's true for you, and any sharing that you can do on the call is always helpful for anyone else who's not only on the call, but those people that might not have been able to make it today and get to tune in afterwards. So sharing is great, and we'll be done no later than an hour from now, or a little less. So I wanted to point out that we are very close to the autumnal equinox. It actually occurs next Tuesday, September 22nd. And Bonnie Salomon has put together an incredible community ceremony for next Monday at 4 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time on Zoom. The details are in our e-zine. If you need to find out, I'll also put it on our Facebook page. To make sure that everyone has access to the Zoom so that they can get on for the autumnal equinox ceremony. I am offering a discount on my Crystalline Consciousness Technique Tree of Life sessions between now and October 15th. They're normally $150, and there's a sale for $60. This healing modality is something that I use on the calls on occasion. I do group sessions where we do the CCT, one of the CCT protocols. So just want you all to know about the sale, because I'm very aware of everyone scrambling in so many different challenges right now that any assistance I can offer you energetically, I would like to. And I also want to tell you about a class that I'm going to offer the first weekend in October called Expressing Your Purpose. This protocol has helped me tremendously to be able to focus in the midst of chaos. So if ever there was a time when we needed some focus amidst some chaos, this particular class gives you a protocol that you can do every day if you like, and gives you a unique connection to the earth, your own creativity, your own voice. If you are someone that is empathic and you have trouble discerning what's true for you with so much going on, this class is a really great one-time thing that once you learn it, you know it, and you can practice it. So you can go to innerlifecoaching.net to look for the details on that class. And there's both a full payment method and a payment plan available. So just want you to know about this. And we use the elemental forces in the class. So it does connect quite nicely to the work that we do here. So every part of the country, and if you're listening internationally, every part of the world is experiencing different levels of chaos and difficulty, from pandemic, from weather and climate disasters. Right now it's pouring rain here in Atlanta because of the hurricane that's occurring in Florida and South Carolina and Alabama. And so, and I know, of course, our dear friends in the west part of the country are experiencing forest fires and just horrific things. So we're just going to call in the elemental forces to help us today to center. So we just ask Earth to give us good containment and step-by-step guidance about what we can do during this new moon in Virgo. We ask water to give us emotional support, for us to have clarity emotionally about what we need, and to be able to express our emotions and use them as fuel rather than impediment today. And in our air realm, we just ask for the breath of life. Remember to breathe deeply. And in the fire realm, fire is about action and transformation. And we just ask that the fire realm work with us in a way that is moving us forward to our higher self and to our right creations that we're trying to create. And just ask that the fire be hot enough for it to move us, but not hot enough for it to burn us in any way, internally, externally. In spirit, the divine, all that is, your relationship to source of all. Just ask each person on the call live or listening to the recording, tap into the support and guidance from source or spirit that they need today. That there is upliftment and the ability to co-create as we work with our guidance today. Thank you all. And so it is. So when we have a new moon, we have both the sun and the moon in the same astrological sign. It can be a start of a growing phase for whatever is next on our internal radar about what we're working on. So it's a great place to boost. It gives a boost of energy to whatever you're working with or working on, creatively or in your business or in your home or in your relationships or in just general life guidance. So we're in the Virgo phase of the Virgo new moon and the Virgo sun. What does that mean? So Virgo is an earth sign, and she's dedicated to her sacred work. She honors the patterns of life in nature, and she can work in families and communities. And the priestess archetype lives in Virgo. For anyone who doesn't know, the priestess archetype is the archetype of the feminine that did sacred work for generations and centuries before the organizational forces that we have now. And priestesses would do things to honor life passages. They would often officiate ceremonies and transitions from birth, puberty. In the 21st century, things like a new job, the loss of a job, marriage or divorce, menopause, elderhood, and even at death. The priestess energy is one that gives guidance to a community. I know there are some women on the call today that hold that frequency. But in addition to that, priestess is one aspect of Virgo, but in addition to that, they also understand about how to use patterns, timings, rhythms, and cycles to be practical, dependable, the ones that can handle a lot of detail and do it in a way that is very systematic and organized. They're all about structure and form and making things run timely. And they like things to make sense, to be relational in a way that seems to give people easy access, would be another way that I would say the Virgo works. So we're in this time of great organization, a time where we can tap into setting things aright in our world. So I just want to give you just a little bit more information. Virgo is able to see things from a very systematic perspective and create things that make make the world ordered and organized. And that ordered and organized space can bring about a sacred feeling. When things are in order, we feel safer. When things are in order, we feel like we can handle what's happening around us if we have some semblance of order. So just tap into that energy. Whether you have Virgo in your chart or not is immaterial. Right now, we have a unique capacity because Virgo is here to align with this energy and use it to our highest good. So specifically, because we have the Virgo sun and moon, I want to give everybody a few minutes to pick an area where they want to increase order, organization, and sacredness in your life. So that leaves it open for anything. If that seems too broad to you, what is it right now that you want to focus on for the new moon? And we're just going to ask that order and organization and sacredness be applied to that. So just take a few minutes, make a few notes, journal for a bit about what you want to focus on during this time. And there's no rush today, so just let me know when you're done. Thanks, Dodie. Okay. So when we do our inquiries on these calls, we use Lisa Michaels created something called the Elemental Forces of Creation Oracle. And many people who join the calls have the deck. So if you have your own deck, I always encourage people to draw their own cards. and we work through the elements. So if you don't have a deck, I draw a card for each of the questions having to do with the elements for the collective. And so just want you to know that. So I pulled honoring cycles for Earth today for the collective. And in our physical everyday space, in this time, creating order is a really great thing to do. You'll get new insights if you try to create order in this window. And so the question for Earth is, where do I need to create order in my home, office, or where do I need to create order in my home, offices, or finances? So this drills down and gives you an area of focus. And it can be another area in your physical realm. I just tried to pick things that are in the Earth realm. So could be home, office, finances, could be car, could be some other area that needs order in your physical world. So you want to focus on that and make notes so that you hold yourself accountable as we move towards this. Yes, it could be your physical body. Okay. Looks like people might be ready. If you're not done, it's okay. Keep working. I was a little surprised where I needed to get order was my calendar in terms of my time. So that's in the physical. I pulled feeling guidance. Oh, let me see if somebody's got the chat. Oh, Dodie says, I need to pull my computer and written notes and organize them so they are easily accessed and referenced. restructure time too. Yeah. There's some things I want to accomplish, and so I need to carve time out. It seems kind of silly that we have to do that, but if we don't do it, I know that for me, if I don't do that, it doesn't get done. So that's a very earthly thing to do. Make sure your calendar is aligned. Thank you for sharing, Dodie. So in this Virgo new moon, there's there really needs to be so much honoring of our emotions and letting our emotions flow with so much chaos and uncertainty around us. Really, we need to let our emotions run and use our feeling guidance to take care of ourselves and to create safety for ourselves emotionally. And so I was wondering about, for the water realm, where do I need to add more emotion honoring ceremony? So when I ask that question, if you're wondering, well, what does that mean? It means that if you make space for your emotions and do something that feels honoring, it doesn't have to be a big deal, but you could create an altar, meaning that you put sacred objects on in a specific place with a purpose. Or you could just say, I'm going to take 30 minutes and I'm going to let my emotions have their say, and I'm going to maybe do an art piece. That could be considered emotion honoring ceremony. So there's no right way to do this, but where do you, when you think about this, where do you need to add more emotion honoring, either emotion honoring period or emotion honoring ceremony in your life? Dodie has a beautiful share. I need to create a ceremony honoring what has been lost this year. Loss of family and isolation from family and friends and ways of being. Loss of living in denial as well. I can really identify with that, Dodie. I really can. Thank you. No rush. Got plenty of time. Okay, everybody ready to move on? So when we go to the air realm, I pulled from the air cards, I pulled vibrational attunement modalities. So that's for the collective. You may pull a different card. And because Virgo is all about patterns and rhythms and cycles, and we see patterns from the mental realm, I ask, what patterns do I notice in my life right now? So they could be things that you notice that are repeating themselves that you may be trying to avoid or not pay attention to. Or am I the only one? Or something could be coming up, or you could be noticing that there are patterns happening around you. This is a great time to look at the patterns. So what patterns do you notice in your life right Thank you. Much better now. I sometimes notice when I get on these calls, I start to breathe more deeply, and I was like, I sound like a heavy breather, and I muted myself and didn't, forgot. Thank you. I notice old patterns, ways of eating surfacing right now as change happens in my life. Even though I'm eating healthier food, the old need to suppress or deal with excitement and uncertainty come up, and I see the old patterns are still there. That is something I'm going to focus on this new moon as well, going deeper with change, transformation of how I relate to food. Thank you, Dodie. This is really helpful. If anyone else would like to share, if you want to type in or if you want to unmute, love to know what's coming up for you as we focus in the Virgo new moon on our structures, our systems.
Yeah, so I noticed when you first asked about patterns being shifted, I feel like in the mental realm, I'm just having a shift in my perspective of what's going on from being in moments of fear and anxiety to now feeling more love and peace and calming. So I just kind of had to do that consciousness shift, and it's been helpful. Actually, that's been more helpful since I had my session with you last week. And then a card I drew myself was ethereal allies, and that reminded me that yes, I have felt like I've had more signs and protection, and you know, my brother who's crossed over kind of giving me messages. And then I'm also noticing a pattern of some releasing of old friends that I'm not as aligned with, and this new opening of new friends and contacts that have come into my life that have been more in alignment. So I think that's what this pandemic has done as well. So
Beautiful.
a lot of patterns.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you. Appreciate your share. Yes. I just think the recognition of the patterns helps us to understand more about where we want to head. If we see a pattern, and it could be a good pattern or it could be one that we want to deal with, but noticing those shifts are important because that's where transformation occurs, is when we notice a difference, when we're conscious of the shift. That's really when the transformation occurs, is when we go, oh, I'm in a new place now. I can stop acting like I'm in the old place. I can behave differently. So beautiful, ladies. Beautiful. And Catherine, you know you can jump in anytime if you choose. So moving from air, the mental realm, to fire, the action realm. And I pulled the warmth card for the collective. That may not be the card that you pick. Warmth for fire. And I was looking at, Virgo being the efficient one. So what actions are needed to accomplish tasks more efficiently? Where might I streamline what I'm doing in terms of my actions and make things more efficient? That seems like such a Virgo addition to our toolbox that I just thought I would turn our attention there with fire. What actions are needed to accomplish my tasks more efficiently, whatever the tasks may be? So how's efficiency running through your system? Did you like that question? Did you want a different question? Just notice when we talk about doing things more efficiently. Maybe that's not something important to you, but um, Dodie had a great awareness around planning better. I like to live spontaneously, but it doesn't always serve my best interest to fly by the seat of my pants. Fire wants me to plan out my individual days better and not jot down my important meetings, classes, and phone calls, and not just jot them down. Actually block out periods of time to work on projects. So I got this image of Dodie with her hair on fire, but that was just a private little thing. I'm familiar with that. I resemble that remark. Um, what came up for anyone else who would like to share? This is the nice part about having a smaller group. We can have a little more sharing if we want, and there's no requirement. Okay.
So I had just I've had, getting my house in order has been my plan since the start of the lockdown, and I have done like one cabinet and one drawer. And so I still feel like, well, it's been summer here in Minnesota and the winters will get long and cold, so I can do it later when it's winter. But I know that just doing this organization and helping to get my house more in a set up some altars and set more sacred space. So it's not just like, well, I got to clean and be efficient, but also transmute it into a beautiful space that I'm happy to spend the winter in. And so to be more efficient, I might wake up a little earlier, actually set a time on my calendar to block off time to do that. Set a timer to be off of social media or the phone, if I get sucked into that and all of a sudden an hour has gone by and I have no idea what I did. And then lastly would be to, visualize how it feels for me once that is decluttered and cleaned and organized and how I feel. And I think that will motivate me more to get it done.
Beautiful awareness. Beautiful awareness. And you can ask the Virgo archetype to help you at this time. So ask for assistance, especially since you got ethereal allies. Ask for the Virgo angels to nudge you in the right direction.
Do you know what planet is associated with Virgo? You can't remember.
I don't. I don't know of one.
Yeah.
Isn't that terrible?
Yeah, I'm not sure which one it is, but there's something associated with Virgo. But anyway.
I want to say that actually I've read it in something else, not necessarily shamanic astrology, but I've read that Mercury is associated with Virgo. Gemini and Virgo are both associated with Mercury, at least I think it was Richard Rudd that I got that from.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds right. Mercury. Okay.
So that is an answer. I don't know that it is the right answer, but it is an answer.
Perfect.
Okay. So moving to spirit. What area of my life needs an infusion of the sacred? Virgo can do sacred work anywhere that she is. And it can make any work sacred, including cleaning. But when you look at your life today, what area of your life needs an infusion of the sacred? And it doesn't have to be a whole area. It could just be, my bedtime needs to become more sacred. Can just be one thing, but just tap in. What is asking to be more sacred in your life? And I pulled Divine Feminine for the collective. Just want you all to know that. Pulled Divine Feminine.
Que de repente me ha permitido acceder a maneras más eficaces.
Mute everybody just for... So let me share Catherine's. I love this. Desire to see my computer and learning new technology as sacred. Thank you for that. That's beautiful. Juliana, who just got to join us, said, sorry I'm late, missed the emails and can't find the Facebook group. Can you give me the name of the Facebook group? So our Facebook group is Wise Transformation LLC. There's another Wise Transformation group, so that's why we had to add the LLC, but Wise Transformation LLC. And I'm going to be posting the meeting links there too. You're welcome, Juliana. Dodie, this one had me stumped a bit, but what keeps coming up to me is my relationship with myself. Well, I can think of nothing more worthy of our sacred intention. Nothing, nothing, nothing. Lynn drew personal divinity. So I will infuse sacredness into my journey, my body, my emotions, and trust my intuition and creativity. That sounds like a beautiful new moon intention to me. Thank you for sharing that, Lynn, for everyone's benefit. Beautiful. Okay, so now we're just at the part of our journey where we take earth, air, water, fire, and spirit, and we kind of pull it all together. So when you think about the tidbits that everyone got that were so beautiful during our call, when you pull it all together, as the new moon is tomorrow, what unified field message does the whole shebang have for you in terms of what you're going to work on going forward with your new moon? How are you going to pull it all together? What feels right? winding down to completion. So Dodie shared, I will allow the divine to have full access to my thoughts and emotions, celebrating the loss, the shadow, as well as the exciting changes. Better organization and planning makes a happier, healthier, more grounded me, she says. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you, Dodie. That's beautiful. Anyone else like to share?
Well, I will when I put my 5 cards together that I drew, I just wrote them in a summary from my personal cards. I will use organic timing to create more organization and efficiency using my joyful inner child, and count on my ethereal allies to provide me growth and access to my personal divinity. And I also did find out that yes, Virgo is ruled by Mercury, and Mercury retrograde will happen again on October 14th, and it will go to November 3rd, right up until the election. Oh boy. So we're going to have a lot of communication and mishaps during that whole process. So that'll be interesting.
Well, I appreciate that information and confirmation, and thank you for sharing. I really do like the way that you put it together. And we could reframe to say that we're building a new future, so we're gonna have something totally different during the election. It's not gonna be same old, same old.
We'll see. Yeah.
And I love that Catherine said, I want that too, Dodie. After you shared what you did, Dodie, she was like, I want that too. Pick me. Thank you, Catherine. Anything else?
And Judy, my cards, grounded in emotional awareness, I feel the warmth of focus on my life purpose.
Wow. That's beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing that. Beautiful, beautiful. Well, thank you for those of you that could be with us live. Thank you for your input today. Just really appreciate everyone who comes. And if you're watching the recording, do the work. Use the cards that I pulled, or pull your own. But in addition to Monday, again, that's Monday the 21st at 4 o'clock, Bonnie Salomon I'll be on the call, but I'm going to be learning from Bonnie as well for our autumnal equinox ceremony. And then I'll be doing the next full moon call. The next full moon is in Aries on October 1st. So I'm going to do a call September 30th at 11 a.m. And I'm trying to shift the times around a little bit to kind of allow for everybody to have a chance to come. And if that's early for you, just know that the recording gets posted right after on the YouTube channel. So if you can't come live, you can look at the recording that same day. I will get it up there as fast as I can. But I so appreciate the inquiry, the conversation, and the community that we get to establish every time that we meet. I appreciate every single one of you. And I am holding space that these calls will rejuvenate you, whoever listens. And if you know people who you think might like it, invite them.
Thank you, Judy.
Beautiful. Thank you. See you next time.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.